Last time we covered the 5 steps to set and achieve short-term goals. This time we will go over the handling of long-term goals. The overall steps are similar in both process. For long-term goals, in addition to apply the same process you would for short-term goals, you would add 2 extra steps to the process. In this video we will go over these 2 steps and guide you through the details. As a reminder, typically a short-term goal is something that would take 3 months to a few years to achieve, or sometimes even shorter. In contrary, a long-term goal usually completes in 3 to 5 years, or sometimes even longer. It really depends on the situation. If you haven't seen the short-term goal video yet, I would strongly recommend you to watch it as it has lots of important information which will also help you to handle a bigger goal. I will place the link in the description and you can review it afterward. Let's get started. Usually a long-term goal is a much bigger goal compared to a short-term goal, and that's why it takes a longer time to accomplish. If you just jump right into it and start attacking the problem, you will most likely find yourself getting lost and running around like a headless chicken. An effective way is to divide the goal into smaller pieces for easier handling. This gives you the benefit to overview the problem in an organized manner, derive better coordination between the different pieces, and to systematically approach each area more efficiently. Once the goal is well defined, identify the major components, determine the relationship of each component to see if there are any dependency, such as one area needs to finish before another. And from there on, you would focus working on each component and treat it as a short-term goal. Let's run through an example. Say I want to become a public elementary school teacher to teach art after I will finish college. As a reminder, the more detail you provide, the easier it will plan out. To have an easier start, let's look at some requirements. To become a public school teacher, from where I live it requires a teaching credential in addition to a college degree. So I will add a sub-goal for getting a teaching credential. To teach art, I need to be proficient in art, so I will target to major in fine art in college. And to make it a bit more specific, I will major in fine art with emphasis in digital art. It would be nice to have some teaching experience beforehand, so I will aim to get a teaching assistant job while studying at college. And it makes sense to work outside of the campus for some sort of internship as well. There goes 2 more sub-goals. To teach in elementary school, I need to work with children, so probably it's a good idea to take some classes about child psychology. Now this is only the first draft and we will need to dig deeper. If you don't know how to expand this roadmap, try to ask yourself more questions about each sub-goal. For example, for the teaching credential, what are the requirements to enroll and how much does it cost? If it's too expensive, where do I get the money? In this case, I will attach a research task to the sub-goal. Since this is not an immediate roadblock, I can defer this research step until later. The point is, you would add as much useful information to it until you feel that you have enough information and confidence to begin pursuing the goal. Earlier we mentioned about dependency. In this example, probably it would be nice to have some working experience before applying for the internship, so I would make the teaching assistant step as a prerequisite for the internship step, since in working as a teaching assistant I would be able to gain some real-world working experience at the same time. With a few more iteration of going back and forth, the breakdown of the pieces would look something like this. In reality, it is very common that you won't be able to finalize planning all the steps at once. As the goal progresses, you would fill in the missing steps, or even make significant adjustment to the existing steps whenever needed. For example, later on you will add steps such as hiring process for the teaching position, interview techniques, which school district to apply. But don't worry about these. The objective is not to figure out the entire puzzle at once, but to create a roadmap with enough organization so that you can begin comfortably and confidently. One of the biggest and most common failures in reaching goal is to give up. You must become persistent. Being persistent means sticking with your goal no matter what life throws at you, approaching it with relentlessness, focus, and intention. It means never giving up until the objective is achieved. This is similar to the step "keep the ball rolling" in the previous short-term goal video, but not entirely. For long-term goals, the duration is much longer, therefore both obstacles and doubts will increase accordingly as you progress along the way. In fact, when the harshness strikes in reality, all it takes is a few big roadblocks to shake your belief. In our example, let's say, by the 4th year in college, you're still not able to get a teaching assistant position, not to mention about securing an internship outside of campus, and at the same time you hear news from the government that there are plans for budget reduction in the public school over the next few years. In a situation like this, what would you do, and how can you continue to remain persistent? The answer is, you do and you must do. You persist, but you may do so in a different way. For example, is it possible to stay longer in college and acquire a graduate degree first before continuing with the rest of the plan? That way you can buy yourself more time to fill in the missing steps, avoiding the bad job market timing, and at the same time doing something that is potentially beneficial to reaching your goal. This is just one example out of many. There are always other alternatives out there. The point is, once you commit to the goal from step 1, you persist till the end and don't give up. Imagine if everyone gives up easily, we would never have accomplished so much in history. We have invented the airplane, broke the speed of the sound barrier record in multiple magnitudes, walked on the moon and came back safely. Next time, when you get discouraged, ask yourself the other way around, does it worth to give up? Constantly believe in yourself and spend your energy to focus rather than surrendering. In this video we have identified the steps to break down the goal into smaller tasks, allowing easier management of the goal and better focus in each aspect. We mentioned the necessity for becoming persistent during the process, pointing out the biggest reason of goal reaching is giving up. We will cover other areas of the topic in the future. As a reminder, if you haven't watched the short-term goal video, please find the link in the description and go over it. I hope you will find this video helpful. Please feel free to leave any questions or comments and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.